Hi guys, what's up? It's Joel Pitt here, back with another video, and in this video it will be for Love Island All Stars 2026 Series 3, Episode 3. I'll leave a link down below to Episode 2, of course it's going to be spoilers. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So, with the, Meet the Islanders, there wasn't really an official one, like a big one on the Love Island website. There was only little clips, but on Peacock's YouTube channel, there's a 50-second video, which I have left a link in, I think, episode 1. As well, there's the All-Star Islanders answering some savage questions, which I have also left a link down below in episode 1. So Millie and Charlie did go to the secret garden and not the hideaway, so I apologise for that. Then they were talking about the kiss that they had. Shaq and Belle spoke. He says he's missed the chats with Belle. He's missed her eyes and her smile. And she is basically, as Shaq pointed out, hot property. Because pretty much everyone is wanting, Scott's wanting her. Sean's wanting her. There's a lot of people that are wanting her. So, yeah. Millie and Sean spoke, saying, fun snog, but quick, with Charlie. Shaq and Whitney spoke about Jack. Helena pulled Sean, then hugged Millie. Well, Sean hugged Millie before, Helena pulled, I think they went to the terrace, yeah. And then they ended up having a kiss. He said, he was a bit jealous that he missed out when he was, in the hideaway, because Scott sent him there. Jack and Shaq spoke. Jack says he doesn't know what to do, so they pulled Whitney over. Then Shaq said, I'm just going to go to the toilet. Well, basically just say, I'm out of here. Leave them two to it. Shaq and Sean spoke about Millie, and then also the kiss that he had with Helena. Then there was a game, All Eyes on Me. So basically, each one of the Islanders had to sit in this, what they said, hot seat, and face a series of quickfire questions from the other Islanders. They can pass on a question, but if they pass, they have to snog another Islander as a forfeit, but it keeps that secret safe. So Shaq was up first. He was asked what happened in Miami. So he said he went to a strip club, he had a lap dance, and basically that was it. He didn't kiss anyone or whatever, but he regrets it. He's a changed person, and at least it's out in the open now, he said, that no one's going to ask him about it, so, it's fine. If Leanne wasn't friends with your ex, would you go there? He said yes. Who would you want to get with the most? He said Belle. Who do you get along with the least? He passed, so he kissed Belle. Then Jess was next. Who would you couple up with if you weren't coupled up with Tommy? Kieran. If you wasn't friends with Matilda, would you give me a chance? Sean asked. She said yes. Then, are you going to kiss Tommy tonight? Someone asked. She passed and kissed Tommy. Scott was next. If you had to recouple, who would you go for? He went for Leanne. If you had to choose between Catherine and Leanne, who would you go for? He passed and kissed Leanne. Who's playing the biggest game? He thought Charlie was. Basically, him and Millie, he said, are sort of the mum and dad of the group. He's got that, secure relationship, sort of. And he's just a bit I might chat with that person. I might chat with this person. So it's just a bit I don't know. But, I mean, he can chat to whoever he wants. It's only day 2, really. Or day 3, whatever. But yeah, who's the person you would least like to see as a bombshell? He passed and kissed Millie. Then Whitney was really only shown one question. I don't know if she was asked more questions, but yeah, who are you most attracted to? She said Charlie. He looks like a Viking from some TV series. And then Jack was just a bit so she doesn't really like me then. Sean, was asked, have you kissed someone tonight? He said yes. Helena. And then, would you do it again? He was asked. He said yes. And then, who would you want to have in your bed that's not your partner? He passed and kissed Millie. And then someone just asked a random question. I don't know if this was to try and get him to kiss more people or something, but someone asked, is your favourite colour blue? I'm like, okay. Well, of course, he could just answer yes, and that's just boring. Like, I can't remember who asked it, but like, come on, if you're going to ask a question, just play the game, like, you know, have a question that leads out to the truth or something. But he passed, of course, and just kissed Belle. And then someone asked, what was your reason for kissing Helena? He passed again, and then kissed Jess. So he's really having the pick and mix tonight, he is. Leanne then was asked, is finances more important than looks? Then Jess was passing for her. She was saying pass, but then Leanne was like, yes. And then was like, oh, sorry, no. But then Shaq was like, no, you've already answered. And then saying to Jess, don't pass for her. Then who would you kiss if you had the chance? She said Scott. And then there was a question of something about if Scott wasn't unprovoked towards Sean or something, would that make him attractive? I don't know what the question was asked, but she passed anyway and then kissed Scott. Helena, have you slept with any footballers? She passed and kissed Sean. That was the only question that they showed her. Tommy, which boy is your biggest threat in here? Said Kieran. Well, because he's the only one that's speaking with Jess, really. If Jess and Emily were both at an event, who would you go for? He passed and kissed Jess. Millie was asked, would you get back with your ex? She said no, that's way gone. How long ago was it that you broke up? 5 months ago. And then Charlie, I think, was saying, oh yeah, that's not long enough to, you know, get onto another relationship when you've been with them for 4 years. But she was just saying, you know, people are different, really. And then, has there been any famous persons in your DMs? She passed and kissed Charlie. Belle, who would you couple up with? She said Scott. Has there been any footballers in your DM? She passed and kissed Scott. Jack, who were you most sexually attracted to? He said Millie. And then there was sort of like, why have you not gone there? Well, because Millie's been occupied with Charlie, and, well, Whitney was just asking, well, go and crack on with Millie then. And then Shaq, I think, asked, which female Islander would be the best naked, he said. He passed and kissed Millie. And then she was just like, oh, bless him, you know, he's not my type, but he's nice. She said he would eat him alive. Kieran was asked who he top three, so he went for Leanne, Jess and Belle. Who do you think's playing it safe? He said Whitney. Basically, you know, she says she doesn't want to be a baby daddy, but then all of a sudden now she wants to give it a go with Jack. How many people have you slept with? He passed and kissed Jess. Charlie, who are your top three? He said Millie, Belle and Jess. And then I think Shaq asked if you could go for like looks, personality, body, out of them three, who would you pick? He passed and then kissed Millie. Who do you think's playing it safe? He said Jess, Whitney and Helena. But then since Helena kissed Sean, he sort of said, actually no, she's not playing it safe now. And then body count, over or under 100. I think Kieran might have asked that. He passed and then kissed Belle. And then Millie was just a bit like, so if it was over 100, well, if it was under 100, he would have answered. But since it's over 100 and he passed, it's a bit like she thinks it's over 100. And then who do you think's the first to go home? And he thinks if it was a couple situation, Whitney and Jack. So either single one of them, Whitney or Jack, but I think Jack potentially. Then Sean and Jack spoke. Leanne and Whitney spoke. Jess was there too. Scott was asking, you know, if he should stick it on Millie. Belle was saying Sean can cuddle her. Basically, he was saying he was cold or something. Sean and Belle spoon in the night. Everyone else did nothing. Jack made Whitney an iced coffee, but she said she likes making her own coffee. Jess wanted a nice coffee. Sean and Belle spoke. Whitney and Jack spoke. Charlie and Whitney spoke. And then, well, she came over to speak to Charlie. Bella and Helena spoke. Then Helena got a bit upset. Scott and Leanne went to the secret garden. You know, I think Scott's been putting a lot of effort. That's what Leanne's been saying. They had a kiss. She was a bit shy as well. Helena spoke to Sean. He apologised for his actions. But, you know, he's just getting to know everyone, really. But I guess for Helena, it was a bit muggy of Sean to do that as well, like kiss loads of people when they just had a kiss. Millie and Scott spoke. She feels very giddy round him. Shaq pulled Helena. They went to the secret garden and they had a kiss as well. So then they got a text that a recoupling was happening tonight. The girls will be choosing which boys they want to couple up with. Scott, since he's the first one, well, like the newest, he's first to pick. Then, like, it was left on a cliffhanger who Scott was picking, and then we finding out tonight that there's going to be 3 new bombshells coming in, 2 girls and 1 boy. And then there's a first look, on the app. Shady game exposes some home truths. There's no playing it safe with this game. All this shade needs its own forecast. What's your snack of choice for tonight's episode? And there's a poll on that. What are you like when it comes to dating? May this kind of relationship find me. Find a man that supports you twerking. There's a video on that with Whitney. Finish Whitney's sentence. Jack could be the Ed to my Sheeran. Photo of the first kiss for Sean and Helena. And then, where's Yaz GBT and her immaculate posture when you need her? Which boy did Whitney say she's most attracted to? She said Charlie. Who's going to tell the Candyman this isn't pick and mix? There's a few photos of Sean kissing the girls. Does a high body count put you off dating someone? Helena opens up about confidence struggles whilst dating. There's a little article on that, so I'll read that. Was time. Oh, sorry, I can't say that. Was time for another raunchy game in the garden, and the All-Stars didn't play around. In All Eyes on Me, Islanders could choose to answer a question asked by a fellow Islander or pass and snog someone of their choice. Sounds like a pass is a win to me, in brackets. Despite having shared a kiss on the terrace with Helena earlier that day, Sean took his opportunity to snog the girls and ran with it. The following day, an emotional Helena confided in Belle after watching him choose to kiss the 3 other girls, revealing her confidence has been knocked. Bestie Belle is here to remind her exactly who she is and to start realising how pretty you are, how amazing you are. Girl Belle encouraged Helena to stand on business and tell Sean that what he did was disrespectful. Will history repeat itself for Helena, or will she put an end to it's just a game in the garden? And then a photo for a first kiss for Scott and Leanne. What's your love language? There's a poll on that. Where do you think Millie's head's at now? There's a poll on that. Helena didn't unpack her suitcase for 5 months from when she was last in the villa. Type B girly, we see ya. Then the photo, first kiss for Helena and Shaq. And then, so that was it for like this episode. But then, recently, the app has a first look. 3 new bombshells make heads spin. The bombshells are bombshelling. And we can find out who these bombshells are that are coming in at 9 o'clock. So these 3 hotties enter the villa tonight. We've got Sammy, who was in Tom Clare's series, who's now with Molly Smith. Like, he was with someone, and then like Sammy came in, he was getting to know her, and then all of a sudden like Casa hit and he was hitting on people. So that, like, she was really good in her episode. We have Connor with a K. I can't remember what series he was in, but I'll explain that in the thing. And AJ, who I know the name and I recognise the face, but I can't remember what series she was in. But she's going to be good as well. And I feel like Connor's going to be good as well. But anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.